Hey, it's your good sis Erica Vane back again with another Grownish video. And in this video, I am breaking down episode 6. Let's get into it. So, I am very much so enjoying the conversations that we're having around blackness, around social justice, around racism, around a lot of the things that we're seeing in our political and socioeconomic landscape in real time, like right now. Grownish has been tackling this season, and I feel like they're doing it in such a creative way. In this episode, there was a strong theme of perspective, and we were able to see them have a conversation not only about blackness and racism from the lens of black people, but in this episode, they pull Nomi into the mix, and then we see Anna and Javi have a different conversation so that you also get the periphery conversation that's happening outside, so the others conversation. I thought it was so powerful what we saw with Nomi and Jazz and Zoey, because there was so much happening. Like, not only did we get Nomi's privileged perspective of she feels like she's an ally, so she operates in this space and she thinks that she doesn't have any blind spots, but Zoey and Jazz are, sorry to break it to you, you actually do. And then her response and her defense about that, and then pulling in her white woman tears, and all of this that actually happens just goes to further prove, like, girl, you do have this blind spot. You're not completely exempt from racist thoughts or a racist disposition, even if it's just like little parts that are not like pervasive within your personality, or pervasive in how you choose to govern yourself in the world. It could just be little things that have been ingrained in you because the system is made to be racist. The system is made to be oppressive. If you are a person that benefits naturally from this system, whether directly or indirectly, you're also going to have some of those practices, some of those thoughts, some of those beliefs ingrained in you as well, because this is something that is a part of your normal way of life. And that was something that took Nomi pretty much all episodes to figure out. It wasn't until she had a conversation with her mother that she was actually able to understand what Zoey and Jazz were saying, because her mother comes across so privileged, so detached, so blind to the fact that her privilege is allowing her to kind of like detach from the responsibility of recognizing and being accountable to certain thoughts, certain behaviors, and certain stances that she takes that removes her from, like I said, the responsibility of being accountable to people who are being oppressed by the system, who are being murdered, who are being taken advantage of in any way. And I really just thought that they did it in a very beautiful way. Like, it was a conversation that needed to be had. When Nomi started crying, I was like, oh my God, they're about to address the issue with white women and their tears, and how white women weaponize their tears. Now, they didn't go down that route completely, so they didn't necessarily address Nomi being brought to such an emotional place, and that turned into, oh, Jazz and Zoey were threatening them. But I do feel like that was like an indirect thing that could have been piggybacked on a little bit. But for the most part, the conversation that they had with Nomi, I thought was brilliantly done. It was not too aggressive. It was just very matter of fact and very steeped in real life situations, which I definitely appreciated. Now, over with Anna and Javi, she gets in her bag and she got an issue because Javi thanks a few police officers who were standing in front of them earlier in the day at this taco truck. And I do agree, like, he did go OD with, like, you just saw these two police officers right there. They were getting food in front of you, and you made it a point to be like, thank you for all your service. Mind you, y'all are at a protest about cops killing black people that was just broken up, and they said that y'all have a curfew and that they were going to take forceful measures and all that kind of stuff, and you went out your way in this group of minorities to make sure that you called notice or made a point to, like, make these two white cops feel better. Like, sir, read the room. And whether you felt it or not, I didn't feel like he needed to express that in that moment. And to me, it spoke to him really feeling the way. So I kind of felt like him turning around and doing that and validated him standing with them and protesting in that same moment. Not that I felt like he needed to beat the cops up for something, but it didn't take all that, like, thank you so much for your service. And yes, Javi has a very real perspective, because he talks about, like, you can't say it's all of the cops, and you can't just, group everybody together and demonize everybody for the actions of these few cops. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Nobody's trying to say that, but you also need to understand the institution that has been built up to protect the few. So the many also have to do a better job of helping protect the people that they're supposed to serve and call out and hold accountable these few that are within their ranks that are abusing the system that was built for them to be able to get away with stuff like this. So if you want to have a conversation with some cops and you don't believe all cops are bad or whatever you're trying to communicate, then the only conversation I want to see you having is how are we going to hold these other trash cops accountable if you are a good guy? Like, what does you looking like a good guy mean? How is that manifesting? I'm not just about to start congratulating any person in uniform just because they're in uniform, because guess what? While they were getting tacos right now, you don't know if these two had a freaking complaint from a month ago and they might have hit somebody or did something that was inappropriate. You don't know that. So the same way that you're saying, oh, we can't necessarily say that it's all cops. In this moment, you didn't know those two cops in particular. You didn't know their backstory. You didn't know where they came from. You don't know what they have or have not done. So if you went out your way to make sure make a point of like, oh, celebrate these men in this way, then you could also make a point to stay your ass quiet, mind your business, get your tacos, and not create this kind of rift. Okay, I'm definitely biased though in this. That's just how I looked at it. So I was 100% with Anna. However, we do know that Anna has been known to take too far quite a bit, but in this case, I'm definitely standing with Anna. I think that he was doing too much. And honestly, I think that it's time for her to drop Javi to begin with, because it's too hard. Their relationship is just way too hard. It's always an issue. It's always a struggle. It's always a fight. It's time. Anna, you probably should be by yourself a little bit, sis, because this guy ain't it. And the fact that you're still pounding away behind him after all of the things that you keep throwing up red flags about, it's not going to work for me. Now, another really great point or theme in the episode was protest and standing up for yourself. And we get to see that initially with the protest, but then also when the group separates and we see Aaron, Doug, Luca, and Luca's sister go off to like protest downtown. We get to see the importance of like freedom of speech, and then Luca's sister has a moment where she's struggling with them brutalizing the protesters, and all they're doing is standing up and trying to protest police brutality. So I really love the conversation that they had with her character in this episode. Aside from the protesting and blackness and standing up for social justice, we also have the other theme of like your friends and when it's okay to date your friends' siblings, because Luca and Doug kind of butt heads in this episode because Luca sees a text message between his sister and Doug on Doug's phone, and that kind of outs their whole thing, which has basically only been harmless flirting and a kiss. Now, while I'm team Doug and Jazz, Luca's sister is giving me vibes, and she seems to be making Doug happy. She's pushing him to rethink things and to be better, and also making him smile. So I'm also kind of liking what I'm seeing in that regard as well. Y'all let me know down below which one of y'all shipping more in this moment. But y'all, there you have it. That is my episode 6 Grownish breakdown. I absolutely love the episode. Again, I love the conversations that they're having this season. I think that while the episodes seem a lot quicker because they're like focusing in on specific things and drop down into specific storylines in each episode, I think that it's starting to be very, very cohesive in the overall story that they're laying out, and I love how they're doing it. If you're new here, I'm Erica Vane, and I break down Grownish every single week, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join the tribe. If you missed any of my Grownish coverage from this season or the previous season, you can check it out in my Grownish playlist, which is linked for you on screen right now. And if you love Grownish, I think that you might also love Gossip Girl and All American, so my content for those two shows is also on screen for you to check out. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.